Hey everyone, and welcome to SkillCapped. My name is DrZora, and in today's guide, we'll be reviewing how to manage your economy like a pro. The latest Valorant 3.0 patch brought some incredibly big changes to the game, and in particular, economy was greatly impacted. Abilities have gone way more expensive, and weapons have gone way more affordable, with the exception of the Judge, but who was using the Judge, right? To put that into perspective, abilities for agents used to cost about 400 to 500 credits total, but now most agents are around the 600 to 700 credit range, with big boy agents like Sage, Raze, and Jet, whose full abilities cost a total of 800 to 900 credits. These changes drastically affect how we want to manage our economy though now. Weapons are still pretty manageable to purchase, but with abilities being a couple hundred more to fully purchase, we need to be careful with how each credit is invested into and when. We're going to break down all the major details regarding managing your economy, so without further ado, let's jump right on into it. As always, we're going to start off with our question of the day for y'all. What are your thoughts on patch 3.0? This is arguably one of the biggest patches we've seen yet in Valorant, where the goal seems to be emphasizing gunplay over ability usage. We've definitely seen this thought process in mind with the release of KO, who is the only agent at the moment who can completely silence players with abilities of his own. That's right, an agent that can remove abilities and abilities costing significantly more. This is definitely meta changing, and we're curious what your opinions are of these changes. Do you like the direction that Valorant is going with more gun heavy play, or do you think things were more balanced before? First up, let's get into the infamous pistol round. In the pistol round, we're really only able to afford one ability. We still want to have our usual equipment such as light armor, frenzy, or ghost. With these purchases though, we're only going to be left with 300 to 400 credits. This is still enough to get the priority abilities for most agents though. For example, Sova's Owl Drone, Omen's Paranoia, Sage's Barrier Orb, these are all really important abilities that you should absolutely have during pistol round. You won't be able to grab some extra accessories like previously, but you still have the essentials that you had in previous patches to accomplish what needs to be done. This does mean that some agents where you were originally able to grab a stronger pistol, like the Frenzy or Ghost, are no longer going to be possible with the ability nerf. For example, Barrier Orb, Boombot, and Owl Drone all cost 400 credits, so if you're playing Sage, Sova, or Raze, you're going to want to have this instead, and will have to purchase light armor instead of the weapon buff. Pros are still pretty spread out on their pistol buys. However, with the example we just stated, we have seen an influx of players going for light armor so that they can afford those priority abilities. There's still the usual Ghost and Frenzy, but it's definitely less frequent. Now, if you want to take not only your pistol rounds, but your entire gameplay overall to another level in Valorant, then you absolutely want to go to SkillCapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you everything you need to blast through the rankings in Valorant. The link will be provided in the description below. Moving on, this next segment is arguably where the biggest changes occur, and that is the second round buy. If you have successfully won the pistol round, the second round now gives you a quite large variation of purchases to choose from. Looking at the pros, we've still seen the Spectre full armor being the most common buy here. However, we've also seen a big rise in the Bulldog being purchased here. The cost of the Bulldog was reduced by 50 credits, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but when we put into consideration that many abilities are now 150 credits to purchase, this extra $50 could be a difference maker on whether or not you can afford an ability. The Bulldog was also buffed in patch 3.0, where the hipfire increased from 9.1 to 9.5. This gives it a much better shot at taking out close and mid-range opponents. In particular, it makes it stand much more of a chance against the Phantom and Vandal, which is another big plus of purchasing it in the second round. With the Spectre, you're really just recycling it after the second round. 9% of the time it doesn't have much of a chance against the rifles. With the Bulldog though, you're able to crush the second round and still have a good shot at winning the third round, which could save you a ton of credits for the half. These two purchases have become the main buys after winning the pistol. Now let's say we've lost the pistol and are scrapped for cash in the second round. As a general rule of thumb, if you weren't able to get any kills or get the spike down, you're going to want to full save and not purchase anything. The new credit numbers to aim for in the third round are 3,900 for rifle and armor, and then 4,500 to 4,800 for a full buy with abilities. If you didn't get any kills or get the spike down, you're likely going to have about 2,000 credits, and if you lose without achieving anything again, you get at most 4,400. As it stands, you're already at odds in terms of being able to fully purchase equipment for the third round. To maximize what you will have, you have to save it all. The exception would be if you were able to get a couple of frags and a spike plant, which could net you anywhere from 500 credits to 1300 credits. The spike gives you 300 credits and each kill will give you 200. In this case, you may have enough money to purchase a weapon and still hit that 4,500 to 4,800 goal. If you do have some extra cash, we really recommend only going for weapons here, as we have seen players having the habit of trying to use abilities that they purchased on this round when they feel like they can make a big play. Most of the times these plays end up unsuccessful though, and you end up not having that ability for the next round where it could be way more more impactful. So if you got the extra cash, spend it on a pistol like the Frenzy, Ghost, or Shout. Otherwise, stay away from spending and grab those abilities for full buys. Now that we got our first initial rounds, we're going to cover a big mentality change with patch 3.0. However, we want to get through another big economic change, which is the Operator. The Operator has dropped from 5,000 credits to 4,700 credits, making it a way more affordable weapon than it previously was. However, it still takes up a big chunk of cash and abilities are more expensive too. As such, we need to manage our economy better to be able to afford it. Now, if you want to be able to get an Operator as fast as possible, then you're going to have two options here. The first is not purchasing anything in the pistol round. This grants you that 800 credits, meaning that even if you don't get any kills or spike plants, you'll still have 5,100 credits by the third round, which allows you to grab an Operator and light armor. Not a bad deal by any means if you are an Operator main. However, the big con with this is you aren't going to be able to have as much impact on the first two rounds with just a classic. You're extremely vulnerable, plus you have no abilities to back you up. You're not helping your team much and are greatly reducing the chances of winning the round, which will give you way more credits. Instead, we suggest going for a light pistol buy. This means spending at least 400 credits on a big ability, or more commonly, light armor. This purchase drastically increases your survivability and impact on the pistol round. And if you win the pistol round, that means more money for you to save for an Operator. Even if you lose, you're likely going to have at least some credits from kills or a spike plant, which grants you enough to get that Operator in light armor at round 3 like we just talked about. Worst case scenario, if you still turn out empty, you'll still have 4,700 for an Operator. In most scenarios, there's going to be a good chance that you get some impact out of the purchase to help your team get the dub or a spike plant at the minimum for your economy. Alright, now how do we save for an Operator after winning the pistol round? This is going to be a hefty one. For Operator and armor, you'll need 5,500 credits. If you win the pistol and the second round, you'll get 3,000 at the minimum for each. This puts you then up at 6,000 credits. This gives us a bit of room to purchase something, but it's not quite enough to get ourselves well suited to win the second round. Because of this, we really only recommend getting the Operator if you were able to still afford it after purchasing light armor and a Frenzy or Ghost. This will be 850 to 900 credits and should give you a good odd of killing the opposition as you save for the big duty sniper. The important part here is that the rest of your team should still fully buy out though, as we still want to be miles ahead in terms of weaponry for the second round. With this setup, you're well off to getting that Operator in the third round with plenty of utility, plenty of armor. For the remainder of the rounds, always make sure that you hit the 5,500 credit mark so you can get the sniper as well as heavy armor. You're likely going to have to sacrifice abilities at times for it, but it's a trade-off between firepower and ability power. And if you were already planning to get the Operator, you're probably well prepared for that trade. Speaking of trade-offs, we do want to mention a big mentality change with your full round buys. We just gave you some of the numbers that you need to get all your abilities and weapons, which was 4,500 to 4,800 credits depending on the agent that you're playing, and 5,500 if you want an Operator and armor. This should be your goal for most rounds, and for the most part you'll probably have some abilities left over from a previous round, which gives you room to buy some more weaponry when you need to go for a lower buy or save. However, we do want to make a note that it is okay to not be perfect every single round. There will be times where you're not going to be able to hit those numbers and get every single ability, and that is fine. You don't necessarily need a full kit of abilities to win a round. While it's certainly ideal, the increased numbers can be hard to achieve unless we fully save on every single save round. This isn't ideal though, as we always want to give ourselves some sort of fight even if it's just a low buy. Otherwise, we're going to risk the enemy getting a flawless round where they'll continue to exponentially grow their economy, which gives them more chances of winning more rounds. Especially if a match is tight, we don't want to let the enemy widen that gap. Because of this, in these scenarios, we recommend purchasing abilities like we did in the pistol round. In most cases, having just those abilities along with the 3,900 credits for rifle and armor is plenty to give a very high chance of winning the round. Anything more is a supplementary bonus that would only give a small percentage of a bump. It's like working out at the gym. The big lifts like the bench press, deadlifts, and squats are going to be the best bang for your buck in time, while smaller exercises like wrist curls aren't going to give you as much gains. Get as many full round buys as you can, but don't get overly concerned if you can't get all your abilities, and instead think about the big picture and how you can maximize your chances of winning every single round, including those that you are saving in. With that being said, we're going to end off with some of the most popular low buys that we found to be quite viable with the patch changes. We suggest trying these out if you are strapped for cash but still have enough in the bank to get the big buys in the subsequent round. First up is the Sheriff and Light Armor. This should be fairly familiar, 1200 credits now, and you'll have good survivability and will be able to one-tap headshot a player. This remains arguably the best low buy in the game, which is why we see it purchased so often. It actually costs less than before, which makes it a much more tempting purchase now. Next up is the Stinger and Light Armor. Now the Stinger has gotten a pretty extreme nerf from previous patches, however it still is a fairly deadly weapon at short ranges. In smaller maps it can do some heavy damage, and plus its cost is now reduced to 950 creds, which is way more affordable as a low buy to grab you a sneaky kill. Lastly, we have the Marshal and Light Armor. This is really going to shine on big maps like Icebox and Breeze. The Marshal only costs 950 credits, which is only 150 more than the Shower. However, the Marshal can one-shot headshot at all ranges, making it so freaking strong in large maps. As such, you can absolutely destroy players that are fully purchased up with this build. Cost effective with incredible odds to eliminate a few players. Definitely give this purchase a shot when you can. Alright, if you haven't already, make sure to drop a comment on what your thoughts are on patch 3.0. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next. I'm DrZora, and good luck out there.